On the last day of May, which was yesterday, I asked a question during the last 20-something minutes, 30 minutes of my lunch. And basically the question I ask is, what will season 8 of MLPFIM be about, and what will we see story-wise? Of course, I did an on-camera thing, and it only went for about 10 minutes. And I know some people would rather have it go shorter than that, but what are you going to do? But I figured I'd do an audio one as well, kind of give a little bit more detail. Maybe at a shorter length and maybe at a longer length, who knows. But when I look at Season 8, I even asked the question and posted it in a topic, and quite honestly, I kind of stick by what I said in a sense in the on-camera video. I look at the fact that if you're using the background of the mountains where Turak comes from, then there's no doubt you're hinting at the fact that Turak's going to probably come back in some shape or form. The only question is, if Turak would be returning, what are we going to get out of him? You see, there's a lot of possibilities. People have said that that Season 8 will have continuity to the movie. That's a strong possibility. Now, we don't know whether or not the Storm King's going to be defeated to the point that either he gets killed off in the movie or he gets banished or something like that. We don't know. But here's a question. If Turak will be in Season 8, and Storm King might probably be in Season 8, if he's not killed off in the movie, is there a possibility we could see a team-up? Because I was thinking, what would it be about story-wise, and what are we going to see? Basically, what would Season 8 be about, and what would we see story-wise? And I could see them building up to something where you would have a team-up with the Storm King and Turak. It sort of plays off in a way of the ending of Season 4 and plays off the movie. Both have an agenda with the main 6 or main 7, whatever you want to call it, and they both want revenge. So I could see maybe that being built up from a story arc perspective, especially if Megan McCarthy's coming back, according to a lot of people. If she's coming back, then there's probably no doubt that could be built up as a story arc that could lead into a Season 8 finale. Another possibility is a villains team-up. Here's what I'm talking about. We have Chrysalis, who right now is without any minions or anything like that. We have minor, if not surprising, antagonist villains that probably want a little bit of payback on our main ponies, like Lightning Dust, if you want to incorporate her, Wind Rider, if you want to incorporate him, the former manager of Rah Rah, Applejack's friend, just a few out there. You have the Diamond Dogs that could be incorporated as well, things like that. But what could you do with them? And I think, honestly, like I said in the video, I would like to see possibly a villain team-up. Like you could have, if Turak's coming back, you could have Turak recruit all these villains from Chrysalis to the Diamond Dogs if he wants to even the minor antagonists like Wind Rider and Lightning Bolt and a few others to kind of side with him and basically look at the fact that, hey, we have a common goal, or we have a common enemy in these main 6 or 7 ponies that have basically ruined our plans. I could see them doing something like that. And I think honestly it could work. It could work if they wanted to build to that. Another thing I think that the season could do story-wise, if not be about, is they can remake an episode from generation one. And I'm not talking just any episode, because if you're bringing Turak back, what better episode to remake than a remake of Escape/Rescue from Midnight Castle? Think about that. Think about how intriguing that could be. You could take some semi-major ponies, or semi-minor, if not major characters besides the main six, maybe even some members of the main six, have them become imprisoned or caught by Turak and maybe some minions he gathers, and then do exactly what they did to them, and then have Turak do exactly what he did to them in the original G1 pilot. And that's use some kind of dark magic to turn them into these monstrous dragons that carry a chariot for him. I think honestly that would be an intriguing concept. And you know what? You could do it for more than one episode. You could do a two-parter on it, have the change happen towards the end of part one, and have the transform ponies like that for a majority of part two. Heck, even throw in a scene where maybe Turak's kind of petting them or something like that, or throwing them a piece of steak and they're fighting over it or something like that, and they don't know it. And they're fighting over it because, they're not themselves, if you will. But to me, I think that would be very intriguing to see that be remade in a Generation 4 Friendship is Magic kind of way. I'm not saying they have to remake it that way. I'm not saying they have to do it, but if you're planning to bring Turak back, I think remaking that pilot from G1, either as a one episode or 2 episode shot, or 2 episode deal, would be great. I think it would work tremendously. Because then, word would get around in social media that it's a remake of G1, and you have this new fan base that would be like, oh, wait a minute, G1, let me go check that out. And they could see exactly where the inspiration came from. I think it can honestly work. I really do. Season 8 could be, no doubt, also a nod towards the movie as well, if there's going to be continuity to it. You can have acknowledgments, you can have references, appearance by characters, continuations of maybe plot lines of plots or story arcs that began in the movie and was semi-finished, if not completely finished, or near completion in the movie, and you can finish them off in the season. I think honestly that could work. I think that would be something that they need to do. But yeah, I look at the fact that season 8, it's still up in the air of exactly how they're going to do this. But if they're going to continue off the movie, then these are probably some of the best scenarios they can go off of. You can have a villainous team up, because obviously that's got to happen, because you could have, like I say, Turak recruit Chrysalis, recruit what's left of Sombra, because, Sombra still exists somehow. People pretty much confirm maybe there's a part of him that's still around, especially that with that red horn still floating about, or still out there somewhere. You could have Chrysalis, you could have Sombra, you could have even someone like Wind Rider and Lightning Dust, if you will, join up on the ranks along with the Diamond Dogs to want to get back at the ponies for messing up their plans. That to me would be something a lot of people could get behind. And that would basically make for a great story arc, because it's like now you got this group of villains, antagonists going up against the main 6 or 7. It could work. It really could. And then, of course, like I said, I think, one of the best scenarios is to remake the G1 pilot. And you don't have to do it as one episode. You could do it as 2. Do it as do a 2-part episode out of it. Do it to the point where the transformations happen at the end of part 1, and the transformed ponies remain that way for majority of part 2 till the end. Remain that way until the end of part 2, and then you transform them back, just like in the original pilot, in the original G1 pilot. To me, it would work in a way that I don't think anybody else could imagine, if done right. Another thing I think so hopefully that's what they do hopefully that's what they do story-wise, from a story perspective, that maybe they incorporate those kind of scenarios into season 8. And and if season 8 is going to be sort of a continuation of the movie, sort of have nods to it, which a lot of people will look at season 8. Season 8 may being what I'm saying is, they see season 8 being a major part of, it being about a continuation of the movie in some way, nods, references, appearances by characters. I think that could work too. I really do. And it'd be interesting to see how they would work it out, how they would continue, like I said, certain story arcs for characters that we met in the movie. It would be a fun way to really connect both the movie and season 8. Another thing as well is we don't know exactly when the show will officially end. I'm predicting it's got 2 more years after season 8, which means we get a decade's worth of Friendship is Magic. That's what I'm predicting. And I could be wrong, but I don't think I will be. But let's say season 8 could be the last one, or at least the third to last season. Let's say this is the end. Or let's say this is the start of the beginning. I think what they need to do with season 8, because a lot of people are looking at the fact that the movie could change up the status quo in a sense. And I think if Hasbro has a history of doing this, there's no doubt that it's going to probably happen that way. And why do I say that? Because I could see season 8, one of its main, if not minor, story arcs is the formation of a new main 6. Hear me out. Okay? Hear me out. Season 5, Amending Fences, kind of, in my opinion, hinted at this possibility. The season 6 finale definitely hinted in a major way. There's no doubt we're getting some hints in season 7. So my thought process, my opinion, is one of the story arcs they could do for season 8, which could be a minor one, whether season 8 is the beginning of the end of the series, or it's one of the last 3 seasons of the series. Basically one of the final 3. I see them using it as a building block to create a new main 6. I really do. Because if you take a look at how things have wrapped up with certain characters, and I know some people would disagree, well, yeah, just because they achieved some of their destinies or their goals, it doesn't mean, their destinies are complete, or the full destinies are complete, or they haven't fully fulfilled this or that, which is pretty much true, in a sense. But with the possibility that now you have Rarity running 3 boutiques, you have Rainbow Dash now part of the Rundabolts, Fluttershy opening a shelter, Pinkie Pie, who knows what's going to be with her, probably getting her own party palace or place to expand her business, her cake business, or cake and party business, if you will. Applejack probably is going to be taking on the responsibility more so at Apple Farms. So what better, and of course Twilight being the Princess of Friendship, it's like what better time to start maybe building up to a new main 6, kind of a passing of the torch. And I could see season 8 using that as a minor story arc to kind of get you ready towards the end to where you can get adjusted to this new main 6. You still have focus on the original main 6 in interaction with the original main 6. But now you're getting ready to focus more on this new main 6 that if you go into a season 9, they're the primary focus, but you still interact with the originals. I think if done right, I think if they do that correctly, it could be a big accomplishment. It could be a big deal and people would get behind it. Now you might say, well, who would this new main 6 consist of? Who would be the passing of the torch? Well, like I said, Amending Fences and in season 5 and the season 6 finale, I think kind of gave us an idea of who some of the members could be. I definitely see that if they don't go the princess route with Starlight, if they don't reveal her to be a descendant of Star Swirl, I see her being in Twilight's position as sort of the de facto leader of this new main six. Right behind her, I see Trixie jumping on board. I see Moon Dancer coming in, so that's 3 unicorns you would have. And then who else? Who else could you put into that scenario? One thing that Firebrand did is he talked about who else could get the elements of harmony. Well, the next person I think that could be added in there would be sort of a history-making deal. But I would have to say we get Cheese Sandwich in there. Cheese Sandwich would be the next one. So you would have those 3. You have Cheese Sandwich. And then I can see, honestly, I could see Sweetie Drops, Bonbon being thrown in there. I definitely think that could work for her. I think she's the next one. That's 5. I could see them needing a high flyer, a Pegasus, if you will. And that's why I think, are you ready for this? I think that's where Soren comes into play. That's right. I think Soren could be the next one to take Rainbow Dash's place. And then to top it off, to have a new main six, because you got Starlight, you got Trixie, you got Moon Dancer, you got Cheese Sandwich, you got, that's 4 right there, you got Starlight, Trixie, Moon Dancer, Cheese Sandwich. You have Sweetie, Sweetie Drops, Bonbon, if you will, and then of course Soren. So there's your main 6 right there. But if you wanted to add an addition, make it a main 7, then I think the best opportunity right there, I think the best opportunity you would have right there, best opportunity you would have, Cheryl. That's right, the Crusaders teacher. School teacher, I should say. I think Cheryl would be probably the best opportunity they would have. So if they wanted to go main 6 and just do that, I could see them doing Starlight, Trixie, Moon Dancer, Cheese Sandwich, Sweetie Drops, Bonbon, on if you will, and Soren. But if you wanted to add an addition, I could see Cheryl being put in there as well. Now you might ask, there's no way they would do that, Brian. I'm not saying they would do that for a story, as a story arc perspective in season 8. I'm just thinking, with the possibility that the show could be coming to an end very soon. I mean, let's not deny it. Let's not deny that season 8 may not be the end, but if they go a decade's worth of seasons, basically 10 seasons, then they need to use one of them, and starting with season 8 would probably be the best solution to start up a new main 6, especially if your goal in this current season and in the upcoming seasons is to allow the main 6, the original main 6, to achieve their destinies, achieve their goals. And I think as a sub-arc, this could really work out. And you could do an episode to where you have the main 6 kind of look at, kind of watch the new recruits and all that, kind of do something similar to what Power Rangers did. I know a lot of people don't agree with the Power Ranger episode where, the Power Rangers Turbo episode, where basically a majority of the team, with the exception of Justin, passed their powers on to a new group of teens that we only got to know for about an episode or 2, or 3 or 4, that they passed their powers on to them by either, having them help them out help them out evacuating people, or just kind of seeing them helping people and then walking away, kind of like that. Okay, that's the person that's going to take my spot, kind of deal. That's the person I'm going to give my powers to, deal. I could see them, if done right and properly, I could see them doing that throughout the season. Not in one episode, not in 2, but kind of thrown about throughout the season. I could see them every now and then, every other episode, or a few episodes here and there. I could see someone like Rainbow Dash kind of keeping an eye on Soren, not because of a romantic attraction kind of way, but kind of keeping an eye on him, and then maybe having her element and then maybe having the element of loyalty that she has kind of glow, indicating, okay, that's going to be the one I pass the element on to. And the same with Pinkie Pie. She could keep an eye on Cheese Sandwich and see what he's doing to help people and make people happy. And she could say, that's the person I'm going to pass my element of harmony up to. Same with Rarity, pass it on to whoever she feels is going to kind of keep an eye on whoever she feels can take the generosity one. Honesty, Applejack could do the same with whoever she feels could carry the element of honesty. Same with Fluttershy, who could carry the element of kindness. Stuff like that. And then, of course, Twilight, passing it on to whoever could take the element of magic. Or element of friendship. So if they were to do that throughout season 8, kind of make it that sub-arc that leads up to maybe a finale that ties into it, I believe that could work. I believe it could work. And in a way, you're not doing it sort of like quickly or in your face right off the bat. And basically you're like, okay, here's your new team, get used to them, da-da-da. If they do it throughout the season, kind of hint at the fact that, they're going to be passing the torch to somebody, to a new group to take over for them. That, I think, if done right, could be something intriguing, especially if it ties into a season 8 finale. Because if they decide to go another 2 seasons, you can use the following season to really establish this new group, have them still interact with the original group, and go from there. And then maybe you could use season 10 as sort of a big sort of a final season story, to where you have the new main 6 and the original main 6 working together in pairs and stuff. So I believe, honestly, story-wise, that would be a great sub-arc to work with in season 8. Again, I would like to see that happen. I know some people may not want to see that happen, but I think it could work. I really do. And if done correctly. I also look at, like I said, I look at the fact that, if you're having Turok coming back, having him teaming up with the Storm King, if there's going to be any continuity to the movie, if the Storm King's not banished, killed off, or anything in the movie, I could see the Storm King and Turok teaming up for revenge against the main 6. And again, that's maybe where you incorporate the whole, here's the new recruits, the new team coming in to help out and everything as well, proving their worth. I would like to see that. I'm not saying they would do it, but it's something story-wise I would like to see. You could, and again, I could see them also doing a 2-part remake of the Rescue Escape from Midnight Castle story arc, or story plot, or storyline. I could see that happening. And I think that could work as well. I really do. I'm not saying they would do it, and I'm not saying they're going to do it. But I think, honestly, it's probably a good possibility. Because if you're bringing him back, that would be the best thing to do. So, and again, story-wise, I would like to see them do a villain team up towards the end as well. And again, you could tie in the whole recruitment of a new main 6 into that as well. So overall, I would like to see it happen that way. I'm not saying it will happen that way, but to me, these are just this is just my opinion on what I feel season 8 could be about, and what I feel it could be story-wise. What I feel it could be about is a continuation, continuity-wise, is sort of a continuation of the movie, having nods and appearances and references to said movie and appearances by said movie characters, and maybe even the return of the Storm King if he doesn't get killed off. Maybe a team up with Turok. I could see it being about that. I could see it being about sort of a slow building of a new main 6 group to take over, to have the torch or the elements passed to them, or the elements in this case passed to them. And I could see it done in a way that every other episode, or every few episodes here and there, you have the original main 6, maybe with the elements around their necks or something like that. Watching the pony characters that I've mentioned, showing the element that is needed, or showing the element that they represent, and to other ponies, to other characters, and having it maybe glow, indicating, okay, that's the person you're passing the element on to next. I could see that sort of being a sub-arc that could really help, that Season 8 could be about. And story-wise, like I said, I see them probably I could probably see them doing a 2-part remake of Escape Rescue from Midnight Castle. I could see them story-wise doing a villain team up. I could see them doing a team up with Storm King and Turak. Like I said, if Storm King's not killed off in the movie. And this could all tie into a finale, as well as tie into that sub-arc where you have this new team. And to me, overall, I think it would work well. I think it would really get people's get people intrigued again, get people's interest piqued again. And you're using this season, if you're going to do a new team kind of deal, make that basically what Season 8's about as well, along with being, like I say, sort of a continuation and continuity nod to the movie. I could see that. I could see Season 8, with that slow building to a new team. I could see it help people adjust to it and go into Season 9, if there's a Season 9, that this is your new team. And yes, you're still going to see the old team here and there, but this is your new team of 6 or 7 that's going to work out, or that's going to represent for a while. And again, like I said, it's not that we wouldn't see the original 6 again. You'll probably see them, and especially if they go a 10th season, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to do a pairing of both main 6 teams. So that's just my opinion, though. Again, this is my opinion, my thoughts on what I feel Season 8 could be like, or could be about, and could be like story-wise. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to y'all later.